Welcome, friends. My name is Silas Ollegario, and I'm the host of Think Onward, a podcast about books, studies, productivity, and lifestyle. Now, after the intro. It is that time of the week again. Yes, it is. Wednesday is here, which means Think Onward is here. A new episode of this podcast, and I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're here doing whatever it is that you're doing, but listening nonetheless. And thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for sticking up with me for the last 18 weeks. Whoa, because this is episode 17. But we had an episode 0, which means, yes, 18 weeks together. 18 weeks talking about stuff, having guests, having people over to talk about different kinds of subjects and topics, but also being by myself most of the time now for the past, 4-5 weeks, no guests. Guests are coming back. Okay, don't worry, I'm already scheduling some of them for the month of June. We're going to have 2 guests over. That's already confirmed. But that's it. I'm glad you're here. One more thing. I decided to remind you every week now that I do have a YouTube channel. Just type my name, Silas Ollegario with 2 L's. And you'll find videos every Saturday. And also, I'm posting the episodes of the podcast there. So in case you have a problem with your podcast provider, you can go to YouTube and check out the content for the week. On Saturdays I try to bring different kinds of subject, but I love talking about books and studies. But there I do one more thing, that I show you stuff. Because as you know, I'm a musician, I play the drums, and the first Saturday of every month I post a video playing the drums at church, basically. And it's there. I hope you enjoy. And today I want to talk about a subject that also is part of a I don't want to say it's a serious, but I do believe it's a second part of the conversation we had last week. Because last week episode, if you remember, we talked about me going into university, me being accepted as a pre-med student in another University of Calgary. I'm happy as a baby who's seeing a toy for the first time. And I know this expression doesn't exist, but that's just where my brain went. I'm so sorry. And really, I'm really happy. And I had the podcast last Wednesday, and then on Saturday, I decided to record a video talking about one thing that happened after I was accepted, in terms of the reaction of some people, because unfortunately, we do live in a world where people, they are not necessarily happy with your achievements. They're not unhappy per se, but they just feel the need sometimes to put you down. And I made a video about this, also, unfortunately, relating some of people's reactions with racism. So go to my YouTube channel and check it out. And today I want to talk about probably the title of today's show is going to be Dichotomy. And the reason for this word is because basically that's how I'm feeling today. I'm recording this on a Wednesday. I decided that the podcast is not going to be released in the morning. I'm going to release the podcast every afternoon. Just makes it easier on my week schedule. But I decided this morning to record and have this title, and the reason is this. First, you probably know what a dichotomy means, but I'm going to read the definition here. Dichotomy is a noun, a division or contrast between two things that are or are represented as being opposed or entirely different. And that's the Google definition. And that pretty much sums up my feelings today. And here's why. Uh, Last week you probably noticed that okay, Silas is going to Canada to study, and if you haven't catch that yet, I am married. Rebecca Ollegario, my wife, my beautiful, lovely wife. Also, of course, going to Canada with me. But some of the things have changed in terms of our immigration process. Basically, 5 years ago, when we met and decided to go to Canada together, we decided to immigrate. So go to Canada in the middle of a process that is called permanent residency, and it is more expensive, takes more time, but it's overall the best way of moving to Canada. But with COVID last year and so many things happening, going as a student, which was our plan B, became our plan A. Going as a student has a problem basically that is you have to pay for university as an international student. So just so you have an idea, one term as a Canadian student or permanent resident, it costs maybe $3,000 the entire term, a full course. But as an international student, it costs $10,000 to $11,000, and this is a lot of money, especially if you consider that our money is made in Brazil. Real, which is the currency in Brazil, is worth 25%, maybe 20% what a Canadian dollar is worth today. So yeah, if you do the math, you know it's crazy. You know it's a very difficult thing. You know, saving money is a problem. Saving money during the pandemic, during a time that the income has decreased in our household. Um, and I'm sharing this because I know it's not a problem because most people have been going through this kind of stuff. It's not just us. It's not just in Brazil. It's all over the world, all over the place. People have been making less money, and when you're trying to move to a new country where the currency difference is so high, the exchange rate is so high, it is very difficult and very demanding on your work, on your mind, on the day-to-day stuff, and a lot of sacrifices need to be made, and we have been making these sacrifices, and more sacrifices are going to be made in the next few months until we move to Canada. But that's the thing. My wife's at my wife. Oh my God, I'm sorry. At my wife's work, there's a possibility of she has a lot of money to receive. Let's say like this, and but we have to wait until next January, maybe February. And because she's part of the team that organizes these payments and this kind of stuff, she cannot leave work right now. However, going to Canada right now, as I'm offered, as I was admitted to university and I already received my letter of acceptance, and now it's just a matter of waiting for the visa to be here. Maybe the best option we have right now is me going first to Canada. And you'll think, oh my God, Silas, you're probably very happy you're going to Canada, and I am very happy I'm going to Canada. However, I'm not very happy that I might be going without my wife. And that's the thing. For Rebecca and I, we started dating in 2015. Ever since we started dating, we are together all the time. I mean, most of the things we do together. Maybe, I think last Friday I went out with some friends to talk about soccer and have some beer. But, and she stayed home. Was just some male friends. And sometimes I go to church by myself. because sometimes I have to go to church twice a Sunday. So, for example, last Sunday she went with me on the Sunday night service, but on the Sunday morning I went by myself. So this kind of stuff, we virtually do everything together. We like to be together, like to stay together, like to watch movies together. Even if she's watching a movie and I'm doing something on my computer, we stay together in the same room, even if you're not talking to each other. So we are together, and we enjoy this kind of life. The moments we're not together is when we're working, but that's so obvious, right? But our free time, we spend most of the time together, and that's one of the greatest things about our relationship. We enjoy being together. Rebecca's Rebecca is my best friend, and being with her is just amazing for me. So you may understand how difficult it is now that I'm about to go to Canada, and it's possible that she won't be going with me in the first moment. Maybe she will go and with me. Maybe she will go to Canada a couple of months later just to visit, but she will be going. She's definitely going on Christmas, so she's gonna spend Christmas and New Year's Eve with me there in Canada. But overall, it's a very difficult situation, and that's why I'm talking about this dichotomy, because I want to go to Canada. I want to start studying. Uh, I want to continue as a pre-med, but I'm going to start studying it there, in loco. Uh, but at the same time, I don't want to be away from my wife. Uh, this it's a very important, it's a big decision. It's a big thing that needs to be very. We have to be. Our focus needs to be very aligned with each other and aligned with the circumstances, the things that are happening in the world, things that are happening in terms of immigration. Maybe not going right now is an opportunity that we're gonna lose, and we don't want to miss this opportunity. But being separated for so many months is it's not gonna be okay. It's not gonna be easy. It might be okay, but it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be a difficult task. Although I'm gonna be there working and studying, and she's gonna be here working like crazy. It is still a very difficult decision that we both have to make. And but I don't want to make this. I obviously make this podcast about myself because, well, I'm talking by myself to you, and but I would like you to think about this kind of stuff. How often do we get to live this kind of dichotomy in life? I mean, something that you need or something that needs to be done, but you don't actually want it. Or the opposite, something you really want to do, and but you don't think it's the best option. And how difficult it is to focus on the decisions that need to be made, and how difficult it is to decide whether or not it's the time to do that thing, whether or not deciding for that one thing you were waiting for, and that for so many years you were waiting for and hoping for. Now it's at your door, but you have some other things that are important in your life. And here's the thing. I'm 32 years old right now, as of May 19, 2021, and I've been dreaming about being a physician since I was 13, 14 years old. And when I was 15, I officially decided that I was going to be a doctor. I was living still in Porto Alegre. Porto Alegre is the main city in the southern state of Brazil. And it's not the place we live right now. We live in Brasilia, which is the capital of the country, over 2,300 kilometers away from my original city, from the place I was born. But that's not important. The thing is that I decided over 16 years ago that I was going to be a doctor, and I studied to be a doctor. And during this whole time of being a teenager studying for university, because in Brazil the system is a little different. Then I already said something about this, but in Brazil you have to study for a test. Very Today is very similar as it is in the United States and Canada, like with the SATs, and you go and make this test, and based on your score, you are accepted. You're offered to study in specific universities. In Brazil today is like this with a name, but back in my day, you wasn't. You had to be very specific and choose the university you wanted to study and make the test specifically for that university. We call vestibular, and we did it. And I studied like crazy, and I did not pass to become a physician. And my father, he's not the most patient guy in the world, so I was already 18 years old, and he said that if I did not pass the first time, I better forget about it and get a job and start working, making money. And that's what happened. That's what I did. So I had to give up on my dream. But soon enough, maybe 2 years after that, I was offered a scholarship. I say scholarship, but it was a friend of ours. He decided that he wanted to pay for my university. I was thrilled. But he said he would only pay for my university if I was to study law. I did not like it. I did not enjoy it, but my mom went crazy just with the thought of me not accepting this offer, because having a degree in Brazil is so important. So I did. I studied. I went to law school in Brazil, and never worked as a lawyer. Never even passed the bar or anything like that. Never used it for anything. And then when I decided to go to Canada and decided to go back to, what, I'm going to a new country, I might as well just start all over again. I have to. I'm not gonna be someone who is frustrated professionally. I have the opportunity of going into medical school, even though I'm 32 years old and I'm 5 to 6 years older than most people who get into medicine. I just don't mind. It is my dream, and it's my mind is so mature right now when compared to the person I was when I was 18 years old, obviously. But one more thing changed throughout this process. Having a family was always part of my life, part of my dreams. And Rebecca is my priority. Although it is important, medicine is a profession, so I have to study to go to. Then I'm gonna be a professional and make money out of it, and we can raise our family, and I'm gonna be able to, provide for my family like I'm not able today. But it's still, my family is more important than medicine. I say it today. I'm gonna say this in 10 years once I'm already an attending physician. My family is still gonna be a priority, and I'm gonna consider this when I'm choosing the specialty. I'm gonna consider this when I'm choosing the hours I'm gonna work and the amount of hours I'm gonna put into working when I have the chance to choose. And at this moment, it seems like something that needs to be in my mind. I need to be paying attention to, okay, going into medical school, accepting this offer to be a pre-med at University of Calgary, and going to Canada before my wife. And when I say before my wife, it's not weeks before, maybe even 1 or 2 months before. But might be 4 months earlier, and it's a long time to be alone. And I say alone, I mean away from my wife. I'm gonna be in a new country, making new friends, having new experiences and this kind of stuff. And my wife's gonna be here, so it might be even more difficult for her. It's gonna be difficult for me for being alone without my family, without my wife, basically. But it's gonna be difficult for her because she's gonna be like feeling like she's still here. Oh my God, I'm still not there. And this is something that we have to consider. This is something we have to think about. And so many times in life we have the opportunity of taking an easy path, but sometimes we decide for the difficult path. And difficult doesn't mean necessarily that it's dangerous or that is not the best one. Actually, sometimes it shows that the most difficult one actually is the best one. But it is something that we have to think about. It is something that we have to consider, something that we have to, really pay attention to. I don't want to be in a country for an indeterminate time, you know, away from my wife. Because if it is for a certain amount of time, maybe we can talk and we can schedule one or two visits in the meantime. But if it's not, if it's for I don't know when I'm going, that's not what I want. That's not what we want, and that might mean that I'm gonna have to decide to give up on something, on a dream, at least for now. I also don't want to do this, but the reason we decided to go to Canada was because we could both, fulfill our dreams. We could both do stuff that we were not allowed or we were not able to do in Brazil. And Canada opens these opportunities for us, opens these doors. And as God believers, as we both are, my wife and I, we do believe God has always the best, for us. But having the best for us means that we have to pay attention to what He's saying, to what He's showing us. And we need to be very careful when deciding, because we want to make decisions that are going to be great in the long term also, not just in the medium or small term, but in the long run, things are going to be better. And it is a dichotomy because of this. How do I know? How do we know if the best thing is to give up on something right now so we could do something in the future, so we could maybe do something in the future, or should I go for this certain thing now and just suck it up and wait until I can have 100% of what I want in a couple of months? That might not be a couple of months, It's not an easy decision. It is not an easy thing to think about or to talk about. And with that being said, I just want I want you to be aware that you might be going through something like this. Maybe not in immigration, maybe not going to a new country, or deciding if you study or not, deciding if you're gonna leave your spouse, or your boyfriend or girlfriend, But you might be going through, oh my God, is this the moment to have a kid? Is this the moment to change my job? Because the other one is what I want to do, but I'm not going to make as much money. This dichotomy is something that we all live, something that we all go through in life. It is not something specific for people who are immigrating to a new country, not something that is basically part of couples' lives. No, you might be living by yourself, or you might be living still with your parents and think, oh my God, maybe it's time for me to move on, get my own place. But I don't have enough money, or I don't know, I don't want to live so far away from my work. This dichotomy we go through every single day. Being assertive and being people who know what they want. And I am definitely one of those people. I know what I want, and I know I've been waiting so long to go through this. But still, priorities are part of our lives, and we have moments, and we have priorities and things that are more important in that moment. And for example, if we already had kids, I wouldn't have been even considering, going without for so long without my wife and my kid. Because it's only Rebecca and I, we are both adults and we can handle, just talking through FaceTime for daily for a couple of months. But it is still a very difficult decision. I know so many countries, I'm sorry. I know so many couples do this when they're moving to different countries, when they are immigrating specifically. I have a story from a couple who lives in Toronto. They are from Brazil also, and she went like almost 1 year before he moved. Um, and he maybe went every 3 months to Canada to visit her and spend like a week, 10 days. But that's not exactly what I want. I want to enjoy Canada and live life in Canada, but I want to do this with my wife, and so it is a very tough decision. Maybe by next week, you you get to know what we decided. We are not in a hurry actually yet. We still have 20 days to figure this out. Um, but it is a dichotomy we're going through at this point in life. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. I hope you find this dichotomy in my life interesting, and I hope you got to think about your own. I hope you got to. I hope you were inspired to understand that you're not alone. That you are not the only one going through this kind of stuff. That people go through dichotomies all the time. And anyway, that's it. I would like to say see you next week, but I'm gonna say see you on Saturday because on Saturday there's a new video on my YouTube channel. And again, if you don't go check it out, then yes, just see you next week in the next episode of Think Onward. And have a good week. Okay, have a great time and enjoy. And see you next time.